Test, test. Test failed successfully. Awesome. Hey, there we are. Welcome back, damnation. Damn fam, whatever it is. It's Mac, the community manager for Dungeon Alchemist, and today is the Damn stream. Just notice my mic is a little far down, so I'm going to pull it in a little bit closer. I found this ship on the workshop, actually, just a bit ago, and I would love to share it with y'all. I now have TikTok chat loaded up, so I can see that. Oh, noticing that for my green screen goes there. Seen, I guess. Trying to keep an eye on Steam, but it hasn't popped up yet. Atlum or Seisu, can you keep an eye on Steam and just let me know when it pops up? Hello, hello. So this map is actually a two-piece map that I found on the workshop earlier, and I thought it's just a great ship. They did a really good job building a convincing double-deck ship here. Awesome. And it is incredibly captivating in that, you know, the deck seems to have like pretty much everything you might need. Yeah, I see the Steam one now. I'm gonna click show chat. I'm now following the chat. Cool. We good. And I see TikTok chat, so we're good. Hey Jack, how you doing, buddy? What you been up to as of late? It really does look awesome, doesn't it? So this is the top deck, and this was essentially done by just kind of delicately kind of putting stuff inside of what is an oversized boat, if I imagine correctly. Here, let's pull away a little bit of it and see. Because it looks like there's a boat under here. Yep, there it is. There it is. Oh, nope, I'm pulling the ground underneath the boat. Stand by. There we go. So all of this stuff was inside of that boat, and it makes it look really decorated and neat. And that's, I think, kind of a neat way to decorate a ship in the interim until we have our High Seas update, which will have a shipyard type ship builder in it. So that's the top deck, which is just a combination of all sorts of unique objects in the Dungeon Alchemist palette and objects available on the workshop, such as these sharks and these kind of wave crest waterfall type things that they're using to kind of do a break on the front of the ship. The second map, I think, is just as impressive. They made the deck, the below deck area. How was everyone's week, by the way? Hope you had a wonderful week. And sorry I missed office hours this week. I was not doing well. I needed some rest. I was working in my house, doing some work, you know, just different stuff that needed to be done. And I was working in my garage, patching up a hole in the garage from a mistake from when some items fell off some shelves and punched a hole in the wall in the dry, like the sheetrock in the drywall. So I had to fix that. And while I was out in the garage, I just didn't realize how much moisture I was losing and how hot it was because I was in the shade, right? So I thought I was okay, and ultimately I feel like I got like either a bit of heat stroke or like an extreme case of heat exhaustion Well, Pathfinder Can, welcome to the TikTok stream, and thank you for the kind words. Really do appreciate it. I'm glad you enjoy Dungeon Alchemist. Uh, do your players enjoy the maps you make with it? Is there any map in particular that's your favorite that you've made? And do you have any feedback for us that you'd like to share with us? So I was working in the garage, basically got tons, like I was sweating from head to toe. I know that's no fun to hear, but I ended up getting like, I'm assuming like really advanced heat exhaustion or really mild heat stroke. Either way, I was really wiped for the last few days and just did nothing but like drink lots of water and relax. So this is the underdeck area, which will have, you know, nice little storage area underneath the, you know, the little grate top space. And then there's cabins, quarters, you know, it looks like storage for animals. So this creator actually built regular structures and then just stretched the boat out around it. This was all built pretty much by hand, and I was just kind of explaining that. But, I mean, you've been able to build boats pretty much as long as you could overscale objects and have boats in Dungeon Alchemist. So you can either, you know, use some of the boats we have and build custom boats, or you can download boats from the Steam Workshop through the Steam Workshop tab in the asset browser. There's a bunch of boats and ships on here. There's a few boat items. Ship is probably a better search. There's even, you know, there's airships, there's starships, all sorts of stuff. Big, huge, like, massive ships. These are a great way to kind of fill the blank right now because you can download these and just put them on pretty much any map. Give you an example. Just download this one. Oh, nice. That's great to hear, Pathfinder. Yeah, I've suffered from sciatica as well in bouts here and there, and a couple years ago it laid me up for like half a year. I pretty much started working by like using my virtual reality headset, my Quest, to like that I got while I was good and working regularly. You know, I got that for like this neat thing, but I was virtually connecting, like remotely connecting to my computer, and I'd lay in my bed with the headset on and like the key, like the little joysticks, and then a Bluetooth keyboard that connected to my headset, and so I could connect to my computer and work like, you know, basically over my network. It was kind of interesting, but it was also kind of tricky. But yeah, Sack, I totally vibe with that. Well, I don't vibe with it. I understand the pain you went through, my friend. Sciatica is really painful and can mess you up. And it can come from pretty much like, just like slipping, if you know what I mean? You don't really have to have a major injury to get it. Old Swamp, thank you for sharing and following. Much appreciated. But this below deck area, these are all AI rooms that are shaped using the room shape tool. And then they just change like the flooring here to hay, which is a floor type. Under natural and foliage, I believe there's some hay in here. Yep, down here, straw. So they just made like a little pen for the animals up near the bow area. They probably could have extended out to a point and have more room on each end, but I feel like they definitely utilized the below deck space to make a good merchant ship. Oh, nice, Pathfinder. So do you, that's really cool. So you have a TV tabletop, or is it like a projector tabletop? Man, Sack, yeah, that kind of basically happened to me, but I kind of know what triggered mine. I was like, and I'm not trying to like belittle your experience. I'm just saying to everyone, sciatica's no joke. It's insane. Like I was downstairs walking through my kitchen, which is a wood floor that's kind of like a tan wood floor, and one of my dogs had piddled on the floor, an accident. He's kind of old, and so it happens sometimes, you know. I didn't see it because it like blended in perfectly, and I stepped and it was like a plane where I like hydroplaned with my shoe on top of it and skidded like really quick. One foot just slipped out and I lost my balance and fell down, and afterwards I was in agony for months. Well, we do appreciate all the kind words over here on TikTok. You know, if you are a fan, if you could do us a solid and drop some likes on the stream, I do appreciate it, as those help us kind of get noticed in the algorithm. And they don't cost you anything. Sharing as well helps tremendously. TV tabletop, that is awesome. That is so cool. So how big is the TV, Pathfinder? No, the maps are not due today for Damn Challenge. They're due by the 29th, I believe. Hold on. 30th. 30th. You have till the 30th. Why can't I click that ship? So, what I love is there is a ship on the outside of this, and it's just one of our boats. Don't touch our boats! Okay, this, like this one here, this canoe. And they just had disabled collisions and stretched it far beyond, like, reason. You know, this one, it was probably the other one. It's a little bit darker skin there, like tan. Yeah, that one's the boat. So, and then they just kind of stretched it out and then used that as kind of the basis. But they built these rooms first, decorated them, and then just stretched the boat out and put it over it. Because if the collisions are off, you can raise and lower said boat and sink it below the deck there, kind of like I'm doing. Obviously not quite the right size. They experimented with it a bit, but you get the idea. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Did you make like a cool fold-up cover for it so you can transport it like a suitcase or something? Oh, thank you so much for all the likes, TikTok. And what was that? A heart? And what is that? A torch? I'm not sure what that one is. I have really bad eyes when it comes to little emojis. No, this is not an entry to the Damn Challenge. We're just showing maps from the workshop. I do not showcase maps from the Damn Challenge, and I don't talk about them prematurely, so as to not show bias in, you know, I basically judge them in private after all the entries have been turned in after the deadline. So yeah, by the way, these streams are AMA format. We're kind of just hanging out, looking at stuff on the workshop, talking about tips and tricks. But if you have any questions related to Dungeon Alchemist, maybe you have suggestions or feedback, let us know, and we will do our best to answer your questions and address them and provide you live support. Thank you for the controller. So yeah, that makes sense, because you'd see the land underneath. I mean, you could probably cover it if the boat was big enough, but yes, I agree. This looks pretty good, though, overall. I like it. It's a great way to build a deck right now. I mean, Old Swamp, can I follow up your question with a question really quick? Are you playing in, so just to, do you use a, like a virtual tabletop to facilitate your gameplay, like a VTT software? Hey, see you, Pathfinder Can. I appreciate the support. Thank you for telling me a little bit about your games, and we do appreciate the feedback and information, and I'm glad your table enjoys it, and you're welcome back anytime on the stream. Thank you for being here. I'll see if I can get the links for them really quick. Random Ladybird on Twitch is asking for the links. Will Dungeon Alchemist vanquish your soul? I don't think so. Gotcha. So you are just having a JPEG that's like a slideshow, right? On a tablet? Something like that? Okay. So in your case, it's probably best to have each floor as a separate map. Based on how you play, you would have each floor as a separate JPEG. Alternatively, you could have it as one big JPEG with each floor laid out by each other, right? So in this case, like of the ship, you could have, you know, one part of the ship that is next to the other, and you could separate them to a degree by space of the map, so they don't always see that other part. So you only have one image to have them both. The downside, though, is there's lots of scrolling back and forth. It's probably better to just have two maps, because then it's easier to just, like a swipe, to switch between those two scenes in a slideshow. That would be how I would approach it with the tablet scenario. Now, there is a way to do multi-level in the same map, all vertical. Like, I've done it on stream and shown people how to do this. Definitely possible. The thing is it's all about approach. So if you use like virtual tabletop software, like a VTT software, there are some that work for tablets, I think. Do you use an iPad or is it like an Android tablet? Because I feel like Encounter Plus is on the iPad. And their maps, our maps work on their system. But I think it's meant for multiple people to play like online. I don't know how that would work. Thank you, Seisu. Let's talk about that, actually. Thank you for the reminder. After I show off this this multi-level building, then we'll kind of do that quick little reminder. Okay. So I just found those maps, by the way. Random Ladybird, getting the links. Stand by. This is the top deck. Here's the bottom deck. Can you distribute those across to the other platforms there? Anyone who's interested. For the boat we were just looking at. Excuse me. Just got a hiccup. Pounded a cup of coffee before the stream and it's giving me a little bit of a hiccups. The hiccups. Sorry. Hiccups. So this is the top floor, which, you know, has the observatory deck. This roof was custom made. Mrs. Mac, my wife, she sculpted this for me with my directions and instructions. She put this together and has a little port for the telescope to go out and put a little deck up there with the viewing scope. And of course, you know, all his astronomical treasures, and then the power being stored in these coils from, you know, the wire. It's alive type situation. There's a weather vane on the roof. Go down this floor. Each of these floors, by the way, is traversable in first person, and I made this in a way to do so, but this would be really hard to play on a tablet. I'm not gonna lie. So you have like a Microsoft Surface. Gotcha. So how I would use this is recording, like, or taking screenshots of these various levels to add immersive handouts for my players. So we spend so much time talking about what our players can do, like their abilities. They can fly, and they have all these attacks and action surges and all these spells, but we really hardly ever let them look through their own eyes at the map in a first-person level. And so, like, this particular viewpoint is a great way to capture video and screenshots to use as handouts. So let's say you're playing on like Discord or in a virtual tabletop or Zoom. You could show these in sequence to give better immersive kind of options for your players. Not everyone has a perfect mind's eye that can imagine everything you say, and everyone will imagine everything slightly different anyway. So it's good to give them a reference. And a lot of times, you know, even in like theater of the mind games, people will have a reference image. So this is a great way to get reference material. The first person is ideally designed to take tours of maps. You could stream this first person view. You can, like I said, record it. And then we have another camera option that is the cinematic camera. One moment. That's like a drone camera. And this is designed to get like overhead shots, flybys, flyovers. So like DM told me that they like to capture shots like this. So they give it to the player that has a familiar that they use to fly over and get intel a lot. So they'll kind of record that, speed it up, and send it to them. But Rialto, this particular application's more for making maps and for creating content to immerse your players in their game. It's meant to be used in tandem with other aspects of gameplay. So like a virtual tabletop like Foundry or Roll20 would allow you to import our maps to them, and then you could play on that online with your friends, for instance. And those tools facilitate the gameplay. They facilitate all the rules, dice rolling. Whereas you create the map in Dungeon Alchemist, and all the map data exports to those tools. Now, you can also print maps for Dungeon Alchemist, and we have people who are watching that, will play on TV tabletops or projector tabletops at home, so you don't always have to print. All of these options are available. You can even work with our partner, Kraken War Games, to make a game mat. So you can order your maps as a custom mat and have them shipped to you. So there's lots of options for making maps in Dungeon Alchemist and plugging them into your existing game environment, whether it's in a virtual tabletop or in person. The main thing to point out is you want to, in most cases, DMs want to immerse their players and give them really beautiful maps that look good and give a lot of detail, right? That's why a lot of people love Dungeon Alchemist. The maps are, very detailed and beautiful. They're pretty straightforward to make, especially at first, because a lot of our tools are meant to speed up the process of map making and guide you through it, and then you can grow into Dungeon Alchemist as you go, which gives you tons of tools to scale and make very intricate, beautiful maps that are like multi-level like this one. So this floor here is the study of the Wizard's Tower, and it's got like a little workshop, a little library, little desks, little chase lounge to lounge and read and relax and ponder. This particular map, I am a fail lately. I've been kind of between being sick and being busy. In my spare time, I haven't had a chance to upload this map yet, so I need to get around to do that. In fact, after today's stream, I'll probably get this done. There's 2 pieces of art that my wife sent me that I need to upload into this, and then I'm gonna upload it to the workshop. Anyway. Yep, we do offer Hero Forge direct compatibility, so if you have a Hero Forge account, you can purchase your tokens as digital 3D digital models, and then it will import into DA. Or if you have tokens that you've made or purchased through other avenues or sourced through other avenues, if it's an STL file, an FBX file, or a GLTF/GLB file, you can import it into Dungeon Alchemist. So these floors, for instance, the stairs, they are all custom made and are on the workshop. Okay. Asif, we always add new room types with every update. In fact, I think we added like 8 new room types with the most recent update, including extra dimensional space, wizard tower, alchemist artificer workshop, witch's hut. I don't know if you've seen those, but they are pretty cool. But every update we launch usually comes with like at least 5 new room types, typically. So I would just say kind of stay tuned to each new update. The next update is going to be called Fun with Objects, and we don't have a timeline on its release yet because one of the major aspects of this update that is being tackled is AI supported multi-level buildings and roofs and balconies and stuff like that. So interconnected multi-level structures that can be built by the AI. No longer will you have to do all this stuff like by hand like I did. So this here is 100% by hand. Every aspect of it was by hand. What I did is I disabled collisions, which allows you to merge objects together. So notice I'm putting it in the trees and it's not throwing any fits, giving me the red chevrons saying no. That's how this rock outcropping is built. It's a bunch of different rocks merged together. The various floors of this structure, I made sure that the base part of the floor was kind of the foundation for each room. Every object in that room is stacked on this floor, which allows it to be moved as one piece, scaled as one piece. And I also made sure that they were on a snapping point, so it was really easy to center them. I only had to worry about how high they were above the other one. So you have the ability to, once you disable collisions, raise objects up and down on the Z-axis, scale them up and down far beyond their limits, and merge them together. Snapping, if your collisions are disabled, most objects will automatically snap if they offer a snap point. But if an object doesn't offer a snap, you can hold control and it will snap. And if it does offer a snap point, if you hold control, it'll disable snapping temporarily. You can actually see that in the bottom of the object panel. It says shift to place multiple objects. 1 second. Turn on the mouse highlighter. Shift to place multiple objects or control to toggle snap to grid. So if you have, if you disable collisions, it acts opposite to what it normally would be. So if it snaps automatically, you need to hold, it'll disable snapping when collisions are off. And so you have to hold control to get it to snap again. But same point, just ipso facto. Asif, another thing you can do to get more tokens if you click on the Steam Workshop tab. So I love this software, using it for a whole year. Is there going to be new rooms in the future? Okay, awesome. And like new enemies, you asked. If you go to Steam Workshop and click Browse Assets, you click on this little token, the pawn, essentially, icon. And this will go to all the tokens available that are shared on the Steam Workshop. There are hundreds. You can sort by most recent, most subscribed, most popular. So there's at least 200 tokens on here now, and it's growing daily. And this is available to anyone who has, access to the Steam Workshop. Actually, there's several more than that. So there's characters, there's 86, monsters, there's 187, and 95. So, just shy of 400. Free tokens. And additionally, we just started on our last update. We started our partnership with Bite the Bullet Studios. You see this logo here? This tab will have free tokens in it every update going forward. So we added a bunch of magic-themed tokens in the last update. A bunch of mages, artificers, things like that. Druids, wizards, the like, some dragons. So every update going forward, these partners will be delivering free tokens for everyone to enjoy. And because we partnered up with Bite the Bullet, this won't take any time away from development to make these tokens. It speeds things up and helps tremendously. And obviously you have the Hero Forge integration, and then, like I said, the downloaded tokens from the workshop. By the way, this little Hendrik plushie, let's kind of move on to that really quickly. This is a free token on the workshop, which I just uploaded, but part of the reason I uploaded this was to commemorate an event we have going on right now. This plushie is the prototype design for our very first Makeship plushie. Now, I don't know if any of you are familiar with Makeship. So what that is it's a website where you can put together a campaign for a custom-built plushie. And this is a kind of limited edition piece of merch that we're hoping to raise enough awareness and interest in. We have to get 200 pre-orders. A pre-order is only $2 for now, and then you commit to a little bit more later. But if we hit the 200 pre-orders, then that commits you to it. If we don't, you get a refund. And this is the design of the plushie. Let's pull up the website just to take a look at the campaign. And I have some other images. This is completely optional, by the way. I just wanted to make everyone aware of it, because not everyone was aware of it. And I want more, everyone that is, interested to know. But essentially, Hendrik is our mascot. He's on the loading screen for Dungeon Alchemist. He's in a lot of our branding, social marketing, social networking, Steam, etc. And you see him pretty much every time you load Dungeon Alchemist. His name is Hendrik of the Pit, and he's an actual character or an NPC from my boss's Pathfinder campaign. He's kind of an iconic, piece of our brand, and he's our mascot, so to speak. But this is an opportunity for everyone in our community to potentially get a Hendrik plushie if they're interested. So essentially, if you're interested, you go to the Makeshift website. We have the links for this on our social platforms and our Discord. Unfortunately, I cannot post this on TikTok, or I would. Hey, Swamp, you are pushing the rank up today, my man. Thank you so much for the love on TikTok. Also, TikTok, thank you for 1K likes. Very much appreciated. So, anyway, if we hit 200 in the next 4 days, 5 days, basically, then that will push this to the next phase where they will design based off of our sketches and prototype design and put up the design public for more potential orders if anyone's interested. And then I believe most people will get theirs by end of March. Anyway, again, this is completely optional. No one has to do this. I just wanted to make people aware of it if you were interested. Okay, and if you just want to, get the plushie without supporting the campaign, or if you did support the campaign and want the plushie right now, it's available on the workshop under Browse Assets. Yeah, let's get the link on, 1 second. I think we put it up above in chat, but I'll give it to it. I'll give it to you again. Oh, thank you so much. Hey, Von Yarkos, how you been? I missed you around these parts. Anyway, so this plushie, I configured it as a token when I imported it using the asset importer, which anybody can use if you have a 3D model that you want to put into Dungeon Alchemist, or you've sourced some or supported a Humble Bundle or a Patreon or whatever, and have 3D models that you want to put into your campaign. You can do so this way. But because it's a token, you can actually go into first person and walk around in it. Oh my goodness. You got a visitor. Hello. My friend. Hello. Uh-oh. Get her over there. Okay. So we've got Seymour. He just got a bath. Yep, this is everyone's favorite puppy. He likes to come visit on the stream, like pretty much every stream. He either comes in, or after his bath, Mrs. Mac will bring him in to say hello. So say hello. But yeah, he is shivering because he's a little cold and wrapped up in his blanket at the moment. You might need to put him on the heat pad. Oh, I bet that's the busiest time of the year, huh? There's tons and tons of rentals from every school in the area. Go ahead and take it. My goodness. All right, let's get out of this map. Let's go back to the workshop and look at community maps. Yep, he is, and he's also on the workshop for anyone interested. Hmm. Whoa. Cool. The SS plot relevance. Captain's log, weird date system that is never explained to a clock. We seem to have a ship designed with lots of round shapes, portal jump pads, security doors, and plenty of random crud to make us vaguely evil if you squint just right. I hope our MacGuffin makes it to where it needs to go. Seacrest out. Funny. Oh, I just noticed my Steam chat was frozen. I'm gonna refresh that. Can you drop a message on YouTube really quick, Stacey? I just want to see if it comes through the multi-stream. I want to check out this sci-fi map. Yep, it is working. Thank you very much. Oh my goodness. Atlam, can you get that guy? Seisu was, you gotta be faster. That meme. Let's give him some practice, Seisu. Hey, Big Dungeon Energy, I enjoy your name. It's funny. And also, I appreciate the kind words. Thank you for being here watching the stream. If you ever need help, feel free to drop in any stream, and you're welcome to ask questions. The streams are AMA format, so you can drop in anytime and get support. Also, if you're not already, I highly recommend joining our Discord. It's kind of our main space for our community. Over 33,000 members strong, and there are dedicated channels for support, sharing maps, sharing images and 3D models, just hanging out with other GMs, like-minded GMs, or even asking them for, general ideas and feedback about your plans for your campaign or stat blocks. Can we get a Discord link in Twitch, please? So there is a dedicated channel called GM Chat, I believe, that is perfect for that. A lot of people will show off like their plans for their world, or discuss, ideas for encounters or stat blocks and all sorts of stuff. I mean, what a better place to talk to GMs than a place full of people who are doing their own campaigns, right? By the way, Steam, I just want to let you know I see you, and if you have any questions over there, make sure you click open chat. There is it's kind of, kind of hard to see, but there's a little show chat icon under your video. If you click that, it'll open the chat window and allow you to ask questions or, just join in on the conversation. Oh my goodness. Hey, Primal Edge Design. Glad to hear it. So Primal Edge Design on YouTube says, use some of your cemetery tips to build out a map I used last session. Everyone loved it. Awesome. Glad you enjoyed the tips and that your players enjoyed the maps. How you doing today, Primal? Other than that, you had a stunning gameplay session. Oh, this is cool. For a starship, that's not bad. You were in the Discord? No! That's okay. You were ahead of the game. Well, I'm glad you were able to make sure of that, and we'll talk to you later, Big Dungeon Energy. See you later. Thanks for being here. You're doing great. Primal Edge Designs, love to hear it. Look at all these different rooms in the ship. This looks like a med bay. Yep. This is like a warp engine or maybe a Stargate. So maybe a teleporting room or a transporter. This looks more like an engine here. Like the core. Engineering bay. This could be a transporter room. Sure, why do they have so many like different things that could be a med bay? And then obviously this is the bridge. Oh, I like that. Yeah, they could be various research areas. Also, I'm not really seeing any place for people to, like, you know, sleep. Crew quarters. But it's okay. There's probably another deck. If I had to guess. Right? It would be good for it. I think it looks pretty good, though. I'm gonna get these animations different from each other. Got a whole lot of light sources in the rooms. Michael, you're looking at Dungeon Alchemist, which is a map-making utility and immersion tool for primarily fantasy settings, but this particular map was shared on our Steam Workshop repository, and it is a sci-fi setting, which I found pretty cool because it's kind of unique. There's not many sci-fi maps, but it's starting to become more common in our community due to Steam Workshop support for sharing maps and also sharing 3D models. So community members will source and or build 3D models and then using the asset importer, import them to use for local in their own games or to share on the workshop. And there's over 5,000 of them available. And, you know, many of them are fantasy aesthetic, but a lot also bridge out into other themes, including sci-fi, cyberpunk, Fallout, you know, modern, etc. So people are able to build all sorts of stuff now. It's kind of crazy. But there is a lot less, like, automation and, like, speed tools for building with stuff from the workshop because you have to place everything by hand. Oh, nice, Michael. That's cool. Unfortunately, Michael over on TikTok asks, will DA ever use a program where it can be turned into an STL file? So you can import STL files into your map and use them as like a token or an object to add to the environment. But we have no plans to offer a full 3D export at this time or really anywhere in the future in our development. Dungeon Alchemist was made primarily as a top-down, map setting. We allow you to build in 3D, so you have a lot more detail and options in your build. But that being said, if you want to, oh gosh, sorry, there's like a cat fur, a dog fur on my face. It's tickling me like crazy. Sorry about that. So 3D model export is something that just won't happen because Dungeon Alchemist wasn't designed with that in mind. Many of our 3D models are like facades. They're very simple shapes, squares, rectangles, cylinders, with advanced, really detailed wallpaper on top of them, texture mapping. And as a result of which, if you were to export Dungeon Alchemist, most of the stock assets would just look like simple shaped gray blobs with no detail at all. There would be no animation for many of the assets. Pretty much the only thing that would really export is 3D models from the workshop, and many of those don't necessarily have like actual surfaces that can be 3D printed, like solid surfaces or colliders. They are kind of like facades as well to save space. So 3D printing a model of this complexity also would be, I'm not gonna lie, a bit of a nightmare to pull apart from like a support standpoint, like removing supports and deciding where to put them. I do have a lot of experience with 3D printing, about 10 years, and as much as I would love the option to print maps like this as 3D printables, it would just be a nightmare to prep them for use for actual play, between painting them and detailing them and pulling them apart, etc. Anyway, I hope I didn't come across negative there, but essentially, we just never really designed Dungeon Alchemist with the intention of adding a 3D export that was like a 3D model or an engine export. And as a result of which, it just doesn't have the infrastructure, the foundation to do so. We'd have to like gut it from the ground up to redesign it to work that way. And that would essentially counter our promises to our Kickstarter, which was to have a steady development cycle and provide all of our stretch goals, which there's a series of stretch goals that we have to deliver on still. 5 of them to be exact. Our next 5 updates are planned out to the T, basically. The next one's going to be called Fun with Objects, and it will enhance your ability to manipulate objects and also give you tons more objects. And then, like I said earlier, our next update will feature multi-level using the AI tools. So second floor, third floor, roofing, etc., all within the AI. In fact, would anyone like to see a teaser of that while we're waiting for this to load? I have an image or two I can share if anyone is interested. Some of you have seen this, but I'm sure some of you haven't, so. Hey. How you doing, Upsidasiism? So, obviously, very early alpha, work in progress stuff. This here is obviously a multi-level structure with what looks like a roofing, some decks, and here's an extended structure with a 45-degree ramp staircase going into like a tower. Yeah, and I mean, I don't need to sound negative, and I feel very bad for the Ned community and the developers in particular, but it's imperative that we follow our development schedule and keep to the promises we've committed to our community without getting too much feature creep. And once we leave early access and have delivered all our Kickstarter goals, maybe that's when we can, sit down and have a serious discussion with our team and the community about what we can tackle next feasibly. But with such a small indie team, we have to be very careful about how we allocate our time and our resources and our talent to, working on various aspects of development. So as you can see here, oh no. This is a multi-level, which this is the bottom floor, obviously connected structures. See this little buffer with like the paneling? Floors will start having a little buffer zone between them to help bridge the gap between the rooms, especially with windows and stuff that has higher kind of arching or like, what is this? Roof shingling and stuff. So door arches, window arches will fit better on to the existing wall structure. So walls will go up like what is essentially a 2.5 foot taller. Every floor will get this bump out. And so each floor, as you can see, bump out. This is the exact same picture. I'm just explaining it in detail. My favorite part of this, though, is this right here, because you can definitely see a connection point between these two structures. Like I said, very early alpha, but you can definitely see there's some progress towards that end. Stand by. I had one more thing. I think I have a video of this in action. Oops. No, what happened? Start it over. So this was, yep, see how the bump out's being added? Or the roof. When you add the roof, it basically puts another, like, floor. So this is early alpha footage of this stuff in the works. So as you can see here, there'll be, like, roofing options. Many objects will have to be kind of rescaled or redesigned, refitted to these new, like, constraints, as we didn't really think about doing that with roofing at the time. But this is heading that way. I'm sorry, Kurt, what are you talking about? What are you referring to? Unfortunately, cartographer, I haven't really seen it firsthand or been explained how it'll work, and it's possible they're still working on it. You mean as like a 3D model? Gotcha. So there's a few things to take into account. A, we never built DA with that in mind, so many of our models would essentially have to be redesigned. B, we don't really want to release all our models to the public. They're proprietary. We have a very talented team of artists, and we don't really want all that out there for that purpose. And then lastly, we would essentially have to put a bunch of time into developing some sort of tool or redesigning everything, and that time and effort can't be allocated until we leave early access. From what I have been told by our development team, it is. I'm not on the development team, I'm the community manager, so I can't speak to it 100%, but I wouldn't really want to belittle their experience or the effort they put into it by saying it's simple, especially when they've put in the time and effort and said it's not necessarily. But, I could ask them and see how they feel about that. But I do understand that, in some programs and some things it probably can be done relatively simply. But at the end of the day, I don't think, and I could be wrong here, I just don't think the way it was designed in DA, it would be very simple or straightforward. The importer exists, but our models aren't like the importer models. All of those models are much more, they're different. In fact, many of them are, sorry, So they have like the textures and stuff baked into them, and a lot of our things are texture mapping on very simple objects, as I discussed earlier. So yes, the importer is completely and vastly different than exporting, as it's allowing people to import custom models that are third party or their own, but not exporting our proprietary models. Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, you're not the first person with that idea or want, and unfortunately, I'm just going to have to tell you that it's not something we plan to do. I mean, you could maybe try and make one yourself with what we offer, like a third party solution or whatever. But as it stands right now, basically, we don't really want to release our models to the public in that way. Or license them for use for like game development. I know a lot of people want that, and I hope I don't sound negative here. I would love to be able to 3D print some map designs. I have 3 3D printers right behind me. The main 3 reasons people want 3D is full 3D gameplay. They want to use Dungeon Alchemist as a full 3D immersive gameplay engine that does everything, right? The other one is they want to 3D print the maps, right? And I'll tag to the gameplay aspect. They may want to put it in another VTT that is 3D, like Tailspire or 3D Canvas within Foundry. But yet again, doesn't work that way. Those systems just aren't intermingling at the moment. Both Tailspire is proprietary. And anyway, moving on. The last one is game development. A lot of people want it so they can plug it into, an existing game engine and make their video game environment in this, which I'm sure is much easier than traditional video game design and development. But that just wasn't something we designed this for. It's meant to export an image as a top-down. I understand that, Kurt, and I hope I'm not coming across as rude here. I want you to know that at the moment, it's not really on our development roadmap to do that. I mean, it could happen down the road. I don't ever like to say never, per se. But I will point out that, that there is, with a team of less than 10 people, with really only 4 developers, and the rest are like artists and, accountants and myself, like we essentially have to pick and choose our battles in our development. We have commitments to our Kickstarter supporters, which that's our main, aspect of our development right now. And then once we leave early access, i.e. delivered on all our Kickstarter goals, we may attempt, other things outside of the purview of our expected development. This actually is available on the workshop if anyone's interested. You can do multi-level buildings right now. You just have to do it by hand. So it would require you stacking objects on top of each other, kind of like Lego or blocks. These objects here are things from the Steam workshop, like this is a standalone multi-level structure. But this roof is something I uploaded to the workshop. My wife made this. And then these different floors, some of the floors are from the workshop, and then I think those walls are also in the workshop. But it looks like someone built like a tower here with like a rope ladder inside. It's pretty neat. But the Fun with Objects update will have multi-level support with AI, so you'll be able to just floor. I'm not sure how that'll export, how the various floors will link together or anything like that, because it's still too early in our development to state exactly how it will work. How you doing, by the way, Grimstone Gaming? Hey, Michael, thank you so much for the love. Been playing PZ? What's PZ? Yeah, if you purchased a 3D model of a building, you could just go to the asset importer right here, right? You click that, it loads up the asset importer, which will close this map, but we can come back to it in a moment. And from here, you click import asset. You find your 3D file on your computer and start importing it. So when you import a 3D model, you can place it on this canvas, scale it. Each one of these squares counts as a square in DA. So keep that in mind as you're scaling an object. You may want it to fit within that. So like this is a cat. I kind of want it to fit within a smaller or a tiny frame. And I'm going to have it centered within this square because that way it'll center within a square itself when it's placed. It mimics the properties of how it was placed in the editor. You can give it a name. You can give it keywords. The name and every keyword is a search term for it. You want to separate keywords with a comma and a space. You can set different properties, random rotation. So each time it's placed, like if it's a rock or a brick, you may want it to randomly rotate. So it's different each time you place it to speed up time. Random size, especially if it's like a natural item, like a tree or something, random size is nice. Float on water, again, if it's like a boat or wood or something. Tile coverage, this is the space it takes. And rotate point, you can notice how it's kind of right in the center. You can change the rotation point. So for instance, like I have a door here. Door. This wooden door, I put the rotate point instead of in the center on the edge. So when you attempt to rotate it, it actually rotates like a swinging door, which is actually more useful in the long run. Then you can go in and set the categories for where the object will show up. It's a good idea to set categories because then it shows up in more places in the object browser. Every one of these categories is where it'll show up in the menu when the person who downloaded it is looking for it. There's also a downloaded objects section, but it gets full pretty quick if you have lots of objects, so it's good to subdivide them into other categories. Edit colliders. The colliders are essentially invisible walls that tell Dungeon Alchemist how big and how much space this object will take up when it's being placed, and whether it'll collide with other objects if collisions are enabled. You can apply multiple colliders to an object, so just keep that in mind. One is usually enough, but if you want it to have like a hole in it, you could have several colliders with a hole in the middle. Publish asset. Here you can set whether it's private, friends only, or public on Steam. Give it a detailed description. Again, that's a search term, so you more searchable information, the more likely it'll be found. Obviously, you want it to friends or at least public if you want people to use it. Private if let's say you don't own the licensing rights to an asset and it may be something questionable or copyright, you could keep it private, keep it local. You don't even have to publish it. In fact, just keep it local and use it for your own personal use. That being said, public here, you have this description information, publish it, it'll upload it to the workshop and everyone can use it. Huh. Am I going crazy? Okay. Wow. My chat bot was crashing and there was no chat for like 10 minutes. Finally just came up. Really weird. Alright, let's get back to this map. So, this map is Zelda inspired, which I think is pretty cool. It is this one. I'm not sure what all this is. They use characters that aren't accepted by Steam, but it's okay. Map was designed with these key features. A starter town for easy use, built with a party of 4 in mind. Map created to house many stories. Look at the different details. Place to return when your weary travels. Despite this, please feel free to use this map however you would like. The chief's house along the main road. A house is nestled above, just before the main gate. This post is used to overlook the lands. Storytelling house. Blah, blah, blah. So it has all these different features. By the way, if you want to label your map, you can go down here to this little icon, bottom of the left toolbar, and you can actually add labels to all the various aspects of your map. So we could, in fact, chief house. Something like that. Oops. You get the idea, though, right? So you could have a label, and when you export it, you can export one, you can save as, and then do one with labels, one without, and export both, so you can have a key that you give your players once they've explored the whole town. Or have a map of the area. Something like that. Oh yeah, random rotation's great. So this is a good little starter town for pretty much any party. Got like walls, good little village with lots of resources and things to do in downtime. Neat little village. I like the cemetery. Very cool. You know, Kurt, you sound a lot smarter than me when it comes to this stuff. I think ultimately, you know, there probably is some sort of photogrammetry solution or something like that that you could probably come up with. But I do think at the end of the day, what it comes down to is just the devs just can't devote enough resources and time into making a dedicated solution until after we have, you know, delivered on all our existing stretch goals and commitments to our Kickstarter. After that point, who knows? And honestly, there's a lot of aspects of Dungeon Alchemist that have been added that weren't ever planned because there was so much community feedback and insight and requests for it. So the more something's requested and brought up, you know, the more likely it is eventually it may end up being something. We actually have a dedicated space called a roadmap called Upvoty, where you can actually check our up-to-date like roadmap and suggestion board, so you can make suggestions, upvote, and comment on existing suggestions, or see what we're actively working on. (81 by 75 is the map size. Excuse me. This is an absolutely beautiful map. Very cool. I like it. Take a look at the top down. We'll zoom out as far as we can. We can't get it all, so let's look at the overlay. I love looking at the overlay panel because it's a great way to get the whole map in a single screen, because it zooms out much further than you traditionally could. Very quaint little town, perfect for in between your various quests and travels. Hey, see you later, Primal. Thank you for being here. Alrighty, let's find another map to open. Ugh. Excuse me. Excuse me. Owning chamber. Let's take a look at that. Hey, Space Monkey, how you doing? What you been up to, man? Excuse me. Oh, very cool. Working, getting old. Aren't we all? Each day, right? Oh, very cool. Cloning chamber. Okay, let's pull up the deets. Oh, well, it's just someone's cloning lab. That's all we know about it. But it looks like it could be an ideal space for cloning someone, possibly. I like the hearth here. Because why not enjoy a fire while you're cloning? How's work been treating you, Space Monkey? Oh man, this map would be, perfect for a little intrigue map if your players were maybe chasing down a necromancer or like a wild or like a mad alchemist or something. Something like this would be ideal for. Oof. They set it in high noon mode because they didn't want any shadows, right? But if you just do it like this, it's like there really is no shadows around the edges of this. Also, I think that's ideal there. I think making it like this and making everything too shiny and bright is way more immersion breaking than having a little bit of a drop shadow, personally. Plan to make anything particular? By the way, our next update will address separate indoor-outdoor lighting. So the inside will no longer be affected by the exterior light and vice versa, other than like windows, if I'm not mistaken. So windows can leak light from indoor out and outdoor light in. Which I think will be quite cool. Really like this dimension door. Between like all the color options available for it, you have like a whole bunch of diverse, like different colors. And I don't think that blue is much different than the white. In fact, I don't think they change at all. That looks pretty blue, okay. That even looks more blue. Nice, how's it coming along? Very cool. I like it a lot. It's pretty dope. This map is simple but elegant, and I like how they put the rock on the outside, so it definitely seems like it's in rock in a cave, submerged basement type scenario. So half the wall is rock, the other half is the interior of this. So you likely teleport to get here through the dimension door. Makes sense. Or through the teleport gate, whatever it is. Let's check out this festival. Nice. Well, I'm glad it's coming along there, Space Monkey. When it's done, I hope you share it on the workshop after your players have checked it out. There's a dummy you can hit, and then targets. So it's like a shooting range, an archery range, right? That's pretty cool. Of course, why not spectate people doing archery so you can risk your life? I like this. Good, natural, fun way to light up the area. Feels mystical. Wonder, did they put anything inside the tent? Oh, those are two tents together to make a bigger tent. So even if pull one away, it really would be too hard to see. That's interesting though. That's cool. I like that. Very demure, very mindful. I don't think they actually emit lighting though, which is the downside. They just kind of have their effect glow. But I don't think at the end of the day, like in something like Foundry, that won't have lighting in it. So you would probably want to float a candle in those to give off the lighting effect if you wanted it. But otherwise, it's just a really beautiful bit of scenery. Okay. I'm gonna do a quick little ad break. I'm gonna go refresh my water, stretch my legs for a minute, and then we'll get right back into it, okay?
Dungeon Alchemist is an AI-powered map-making application that allows you to make amazing maps in just a few clicks. You can then easily print these maps and use them in your role-playing games. Or you can import them into your favorite VTT with walls and lights configured for you. Here's how it works. First, choose a terrain for your map. Then pick a theme. How about an old-school crypt? Or maybe an abandoned mansion? Just start drawing rooms, and Dungeon Alchemist will place. Dungeon Alchemist is an AI-powered map-making application that allows you to make amazing maps in just a few clicks. You can then easily print these maps and use them in your role-playing games. Or you can import them into your favorite VTT with walls and lights configured for you. Here's how it works. First, choose a terrain for your map. Then pick a theme. How about an old-school crypt? Or maybe an abandoned mansion? Just start drawing rooms, and Dungeon Alchemist will place all the walls, floors, doors, objects, and lights for you. Each new room is generated on the fly and is completely unique. Yeah, we do all the grunt work for you, so you can focus on creating. Changed your mind? No problem. Swap out the theme of an entire room with a single click. Is it a garden? Nope, it's a hovel. And now it's a tent. Everything in Dungeon Alchemist can be adjusted. Release your interior decorator and go wild. Recolor potions, mess with the light. Set the house ablaze. In Dungeon Alchemist, you are the artist. Bring in your own content and really personalize your world. Dungeon Alchemist comes with thousands of unique assets, each lovingly crafted to suit your adventuring needs. Create a glowing mushroom forest. Light up your abandoned temple, or stuff your room to the brim with pillows. Build an entire world in seconds and reshape reality to your heart's content. Once you're happy, bring your world to life and explore your map through your player's eyes. Come along with us and let Dungeon Alchemist upgrade your role-playing experience to the next level.
Dungeon Alchemist cannot be held responsible for any bodily harm, injury, loss of limb or loved ones, poisoning, curses, level drain, elongated limbs or toenails, death or undeath.
I'm back. Sorry about the delay. Just a quick reminder, I know there's a little marquee at the bottom of the stream saying Dam Challenge Ambush. Anyone who's interested, we have an ongoing map making contest. We have a free... Oh, let me just stop what I'm talking about really quick to answer a question on TikTok. Or, I mean, on Twitch. Definitely not Dragon Fanked. We offer a free demo currently on Steam, so you can test drive Dungeon Alchemist. Check out our forest biome. In fact, here, let me just quit this and I'll load the demo so you can see it. That way you can see how well it runs on your computer. Unfortunately, we don't offer a full free version. Dungeon Alchemist was conceived as a Kickstarter, and we had a series of stretch goals or goals with our Kickstarter that were all hit. We raised our funds, and then we started creating Dungeon Alchemist through early access. We released the early access launch at... oh, it didn't load some tables. Oh, it's because I'm in the demo and I loaded up a map. Huh, interesting. Weird. Going to the forest map. Anyway, essentially, the demo allows you to get a slice of what Dungeon Alchemist offers, see how it runs on your computer, see if you're interested in it before you invest money into it. Now, if you do buy the full, the early access license, that gets you all our remaining Kickstarter updates and all of the ones that have been released prior. So you get all the content up to this point and any future releases until we leave early access, plus quality of life improvements and, you know, hot fixes and stuff afterwards. Once we leave early access, we have mentioned a few times that we plan to, you know, address a few key feature things and then start offering optional packs that would include, you know, tons of objects and themes for other aesthetics. So outside of fantasy, getting into like cyberpunk, sci-fi, etc. So for right now, you're primarily focused on fantasy, which is great for most TTRPG fantasy settings, even some early Western, you know, Victorian, stuff like that. And people in our community are already starting to bridge into modern, Fallout, sci-fi, etc. by using the tools available and the assets available on the Steam Workshop. So I hope that answers your questions related to that. But yeah, the demo, as you can see, kind of basically only has access to the tavern. So you can create a tavern, but all the other room types are locked off. The objects, a lot of them are grayed out, so you have a limited object set you can check out. You have access to a few tokens. Essentially just gives you a few different things to play around with. Hey DM, how you doing, buddy? Did you get yourself a neat token? I am great. But yeah, like I said, you've got all these token options. You can place one in the map and walk around in first person. Even in the demo, you can do all this stuff. Okay. Sorry about that. I got a little distracted. I started reading something on the side as I was talking about the tokens. Hey, DM, I'll reach out to you a little bit later today about something you'd be interested in. I'm sure you're curious, so I'll ping you after the stream. Oops, let's load up the full version of DA because we were in the demo. Okay, back up. Go back into the workshop and find us something interesting to check out. $323 maps. Dang, that's insane. You almost got about a map every 2 days there for a free map every 2 days. That's insane, crazy good. The Autumn Forest one you uploaded today? Well, let's take a look at it, Froggy. Oh my goodness, so averaging almost a map per day. Not bad. Little rope bridge there. The iconic rope bridge in the jungle over a big ravine, canyon type situation. I want to see if I can see it. Most recent. This one here? We'll check it out in a bit here, Froggy, after we take a look at this map, okay? Cool. Little jungle camp set up right before the bridge. Probably, a good idea to rest for the night before you do a dangerous crossing. There is a log bridge, probably reaching that camp. Stream is fine on multiple platforms on my end, so it's probably DM. Can someone, tell him to refresh? Yeah, I like a good jungle map, and this would be perfect for Tomb of Annihilation. Or, if you're doing like any kind of jungle or a deserted island type situation. Yeah, Steam keeps DCing, but that's pretty normal, Steam. Yeah, this would be perfect in a TOA setting, for sure. So it looks like they, so what they did is they went to jungle, generated it with a ravine and dense growth, no water, right? So they had the ravine, and then they just cleared out a little space here with the terrain tools. Put another little kind of log over one area and the rope bridge on the other. I kind of like how there's nothing beyond here trail-wise, but you would think they'd build a rope bridge to an existing trail, not just anywhere. That's my only small gripe with this, is usually a rope bridge is connecting two major trails, or, it's consistent to have a trail on the other side. But other than that, I think they did a really great job with this. It's a simple but elegant map. Needs more throat leeches. Let's check out this one here. Autumn Forest Witch Hut. An autumnal breeze flows through the forest, and somewhere deep within, you see a flickering green lamplight illuminating a tiny wooden cabin. Protected by wards in the windows, a small but cozy witch's hut awaits inside, filled with magical books, trinkets, and ingredients. Is she home? Is she a good witch? Or not? Only exploring can tell. Honestly, Moon Druid, do not feel guilty at all. So I'm not trying to call you out, but I want to include our whole stream in this conversation so everyone understands. Moon Druid says, I feel guilty when I see these maps. I've been here since Kickstarter, never made a map looking this good. I'm usually in panic mode, making it 5 minutes before I need to upload to Roll20. So you bought Dungeon Alchemist, I'm assuming, because you wanted something that was quick, that saved you time in your session prep, right? And if you're spending 5 minutes a week on session prep, I think you're doing something that most DMs aspire to, okay? So just because you're not making intricately detailed maps and spending hours on them doesn't mean they're bad maps, okay? I think both sides of the coin are important to take into account. A detailed map takes a lot of extra time and effort. So, you know, if you are in a hurry before a session, spending a lot of time probably isn't an option. And if your life is hectic or you got a lot of, external responsibilities outside your game, you may not have that much time to spend on maps during the week for any number of reasons, okay? You may not have time, or maybe you invested in Dungeon Alchemist strictly to save time. And if that is the case, I mean, you're not going to be counterproductive to the original investment and sink time into it unless you find it very enjoyable and fun and, overall just like it, right? But DA is a very pretty map maker that allows you to spend time building very detailed, intricate maps by hand, or you can utilize our proprietary AI to generate maps in moments. Maps in a snap, as I like to say. And when I say AI, I don't mean generative AI like Midjourney or ChatGPT. It's last-gen AI, procedural AI. And our AI was developed entirely in-house. No public data or maps or information was scraped. No art or anything like that was used to generate any information inside of these maps when you use our AI. So all of our assets, all of our environments, all of our AI data sets for training the AI were all developed in-house, proprietary, and we feel using an ethical approach for AI is the only way to go. And we also think that using AI to save time for your weekly session prep is a good use for AI. It should be saving us time, not taking our jobs, right? So I think, the triangle of productivity, right? Moon Druid, I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with it. Usually in a lot of businesses, they'll say you can have two of these three things. You can have price, like a good price, a good quality, or a good speed, like a production speed, right? You can only pick two in that triangle. So a lot of times, in your case, you're going for speed and quality, right? So using the AI to generate rooms and environments, that's exactly what Dungeon Alchemist is for. Don't beat yourself up over it. Honestly, Froggy, I'm looking at this while I've been kind of doing my little soapbox speech here. Sorry about that. And I love this. This is beautiful. The lighting, okay, you've just knocked it out of a park for such a small map. Is this like a swamp kind of scenario? Because I am totally vibing with this being a swamp hag's hut. Try it at night. You know what's also awesome in the Fae? I'm just going to throw this out there. My favorite thing to do in the Feywild, make it purple or like teal. In the Fae biome, it just looks so good. The red looks good too. It's an island, nice. Just doesn't it make the mushrooms and the various like plant life pop when you do these lighting filters? Honestly, Moon Druid, don't feel bad at all. I mean, you being here on the stream supporting a community initiative right now is great. I mean, if you've ever shared feedback, suggestions, even submitted a bug report, Fantastic. And whether you share maps on the workshop or, you spend hours making a map or minutes, you're still a contributor to this community. And I'm sure your players love it regardless. And that's really all that matters at the end of the day. Yeah, Carl is really, the genius behind our AI. He's put a lot of time into fine-tuning it and making it very, speedy and also optimized for like most computers. Yeah, Froggy, this is a very beautiful map. You did a great job. Yeah, Carl's amazing when it comes to community support, and like if there's a big bug I'm tracking, like anytime I notice a bug that several people have reported in like a 24-hour span across our social networking, I'll tell him and link him in all the relevant information, and he'll usually go to one of the the threads or where we're coalescing people in Discord or Steam and say, hey, if you have any feedback, bug reports, maps, share them here. We'll take a look at it. And usually he'll try and fix it within 24 hours if there's like a major community bug. His turn time is insane on that stuff. He's absolutely phenomenal when it comes to listening to the community. I do feel the love. Today on stream, we've had like over a dozen compliments. Tons of GMs flooding in today just saying how much they enjoy DA, how they used it for a long time. Their players love it. They enjoy the maps. I really do feel a lot of love today. We actually have a Mac in our development loop now too, so like it helps tremendously before we release stuff. Yeah, so Sack, So when I started gathering data from you, Carl was out of town, and now he's back. And I've been waiting to kind of sit down with him and discuss your issue in great detail, because I'm really just trying to put a pin on what is causing it. Because it seems to be very, unique. You know what I mean? By the way, the other day when it happened to me, it didn't actually happen. The object was in the token menu, not in the object menu, so I misspoke. Yeah, it is good to kind of have a space to check across, but ultimately I think it's just going to take some time to research and figure out what's going on. This is very cool. Yeah, I really enjoyed this map, Froggy. Thank you so much. Let's hop on the workshop again. Take a look at another one. What did you say the name of your map was, Space Monkey? I think the problem is when we take your map and all your stuff, we're not able to reproduce it on our end, so it's like we can't fully test it. But yeah, I get it. We're going to try and figure it out. Temple of the Dragon Queen. Temple of the Dragon Queen. Temple of the Dragon Queen. I don't see it. And it's fairly new? I feel like the files are present on your computer, but DA is no longer seeing them, like a caching issue. Because it reminds me essentially of what was happening with assets when they first were on the workshop. Where you would download a 3D model and you could maybe use it once and it would disappear. And you'd have to uninstall it and reinstall it. Did you set the map to public? Because if you publish the map as private, it won't be up. So by the way, everyone, when you publish your map, make sure you give it a title that has a split name like this here, Autumn Forest Witch Hut. That's great. Spaces are good for search terms. All of these words are a search term. The description, search term. So the more in-depth your description is, the more likely your map will be found via search terms. Some people will put their username at the bottom so people can search by username to find their maps. People will put, whether this map is shareable or, any copyright information or anything like that. Make sure, though, if you want other people to find it, that you set it to public. See, I can't even do a 45 megabyte one that quick. What's your internet like? Like, what's your speed? 20 meg. You see, that's so fast for that speed. I have like 350 megabit, 500 meg, between 350 and 500. This is 128 megabyte, so maybe 3 to 5 seconds. I guess that's okay for a workshop. Try a 30 megabyte. Like 1 second. Question, are you placing objects ever from the place object button within the workshop, or you only do them from within here? Yeah, I do think it's something with caching, and I'm either thinking... Really? Okay. That's an interesting development, because for some reason, I don't remember reading that caused that when you press the place object thing. I'm wondering if that's somehow tied. Have you tried just unsubbing from everything? With the unsubscribe from all button? Okay, cool. I must have just forgot that I read that. Honestly, man, I'm sorry. I read so many different support things and they all jumbled together like soup. And so sometimes I forget individual details. But when I'm in the workshop here, probably once every couple of weeks, I just do unsubscribe from all. And it'll unsub to every map, every asset. The only things that'll stay are your assets. Even a little unsub from your assets, resub and re-download them, and favorited stuff. So anything you have with a star on it can be found again, and it'll be automatically read. That's so weird. And you went through the load order. We already discussed that. Anyway, I honestly, man, I know, but I'm wondering if just like a fresh unsub, resub might unstick something. You know what I mean? Like, between the workshop and your computer. Either it's a local caching issue or some kind of data, like... Oh, okay, you have? Okay, cool. Dang. Darn it. Yeah, it definitely seems like some sort of caching issue, at least akin to when assets were, like, not working when when people would download them from the workshop. There was just like a small subset of people that it wouldn't work. Just to be clear, I don't think this would still run anymore. You're not in the alpha build anymore by chance, are you? It's just something outside the box. Yeah, it's no longer available. Okay, cool. They removed it. I just wanted to make sure. Sometimes they'll sit there for a few weeks and people may forget. I still see it there, actually, in mine. That's it right there. Because if you're on the version test, that could definitely cause a problem. You want to switch it to none, but I don't think it's been updated unless it was part of the auto-update system we have. So it might have been auto-updating the test version like this whole time. Anyway. Again, my friend, I'm sorry you're having this trouble. It seems like you've got two very specific bugs that are affecting you at the moment that I'm not even sure why, because they're just so random. Random! We're just gonna go to this, get in this car. Okay, let's see here. I'm sorry, what, random ladybird? Oh, gotcha. Random. So that's kind of a meme. So there's this show that is like this really absurdist sketch comedy show called I Think You Should Leave on Netflix, and it is definitely a strange breed of humor, but there's a meme from it that was like really popular a few years ago, and it's just this guy dressed up in a hot dog costume. And the meme was, we're all trying to figure out who did this. That is like the main meme where he goes, random, another version of it. But the show has like tons of memes out there that people are like enjoy and quote on like Reddit and a few other places. It's hard to escape. It's kind of everywhere. If you're like, know the show, you know. But I definitely, I just was kind of thinking about that when we were looking at the randomness of the map, and I said random, and I kind of quoted that a little bit, so I'm sorry. I was just kind of being, I don't know, I guess a little bit random myself. It's not like any of you would know that reference off the top of your head. Just changed to public. No wonder I couldn't see them. But yeah, this looks like a neat little maze. There's like a bathhouse on the upper floor. But that seems like all this other stuff is below it, like catacombs beneath it. Interesting. Am I the like I sometimes will get these random like references or like shows in my brain, and it's like all of a sudden or a song, and I just will like quote it for no reason at all. It may not even be relevant to what I'm talking about. I don't know. It just plagues me. Just all of a sudden hit with some random meme. Oh, there we go. Well, we only have a few minutes left, so let's get your map installing, get all the details from it. Very cool. So it looks like maybe this place collapsed some time ago. Either is sunk into the ground, or it looks like the ground has started to kind of just build up around it. test of time, so to speak. Walls have collapsed. The windows are starting to fill in with dirt and gunk. No, the mosaic is part of the map file, so yeah, it loads in with it. TikTok, thank you for all the likes. Much appreciated. I think the mosaic looks really good. Very immersive. Very cool. Gotcha. Yeah, I didn't check the description. Sorry. The pitfall there is very cool. I like the challenge. Was there a neat clue in this study or library or whatever this is? We are about 10 minutes from wrap up, Swifty, but I appreciate you making it. How are you doing today? Yeah, it's very cool. Let's check out the second floor. Ah, very cool. Oh, that'll do it to you, Swifty. No wonder you slept in. So what caused this to collapse so badly? Ah, I see. The fact that you have multi-floors, I mean, either each floor could be you know, different stages of its decay or different times when different people are using it, or you could just have it be each floor is its own floor on the different levels of, you know, it's sinking into it or collapsing, etc. Let's check out that third floor. By the way, anyone with a copy of Dungeon Alchemist can download maps from the workshop for free. There's over 9,350 free maps available, shared by our community members. It's a great value, you know, to have a map available already, so you can search and see if something will work for your needs. There's a lot of pre-made maps for many popular modules and existing systems. In addition to hundreds of thousands of custom maps, both in, you know, that would be perfect for a variety of different settings. You know, maybe need a quick trading, you know, shop on the side of the road, or a forest encounter, or a desert map. There's hundreds of thousands already made to save you time. Pair that with the ability to make maps using, you know, all the assets available and tools available, so you can either make a custom map or download a map in a pinch. You have a lot of versatility at your fingertips. Wow, Swifty, that's crazy. You've never downloaded a map from the workshop? That takes some discipline. I am constantly downloading stuff from the workshop, because why not? I love to see how other people are making maps, and they're free, so might as well check them out. Learn from them, reverse engineer them, stuff like that. By the way, the Steam Workshop has been optimized quite a bit, so 3D models are like improved in, you know, how they function and operate, and you can download more without as many repercussions. Additionally, the browsing experience is far better than it used to be. Dyson. And you're constantly still making maps. How are you doing, by the way? Oh, wow, I like that. Very cool. Kind of their own, like, round table. I saw a couple maps that you published in the last couple of days. Just recently. Didn't you? Or just like a few days ago? Okay, well, if this is the active floor, do you have, like, a hearth where they make food? Like, if someone's living here, this looks like a place to sit. Oh, there, no, there's the kitchen. I see it. Yep. Yep, I found it. Okay, how about a latrine? Second floor. You make them go up to the broken floor to use the restroom? I'm just kidding. You could do something like a portal room or something. Like a gate or something, like a moon gate or something, to have as like a teleportation escape type situation. Or alternatively, what would you call this room right here? I mean, are these the two rooms you're trying to decide on? Or is this one? look at it and take an eye. These two. I mean, excess storage is always great. It can just be a spot for your players to dip in for a quick, regroup or short rest if they're able to pin down in there. Additionally, I mean, you could just have random things to rummage through, clothing items, random foodstuffs, storage, gear. Like you could have like a quartermaster room or like a gear for the people who live in this space or use it. So like maybe like armor and weapons and stuff in one of the rooms. Alternatively, you could just make like a neat little shoot, what are the what are they called here? Sorry. Having a brain fart at the moment trying to think of it. So you could do like a study or a lab of some sort. You already have a pantry. You could do... I mean, the pantry makes sense here attached to this. Over here, I mean, it doesn't seem like it's an area of significance, but it could just be generic storage, not necessarily a pantry, Just like extra whatever. Cleaning supplies, or it could just be like an armory. Any kind of number of things. Yeah. I mean, as it stands, they're two small rooms. Filling this to the brim with foodstuffs and containers is a great idea. And then over here, yeah, more stuff. Just like generic general store stuff. Cleaning supplies, just like a janitor's closet or something, a caretaker's closet. All right, everyone. Had a lot of fun, but I just noticed it's time to wrap up the stream. So thank you, everyone, for hanging out today during the Damn stream. Had a lot of fun checking out these very cool maps and sharing them with the community. Remember, we stream several times per week. We have the Damn stream every other Saturday. The opposite Saturday is the Damn Challenge, where we host an ongoing map-making contest every 2 weeks. The current Damn Challenge theme is Ambush. Using that theme as inspiration, make a map of any shape or size and submit it to the Damn Challenge channel in our Discord. If you follow the rules pinned at the top of the channel, that will allow you to enter. And if you win, you get a $10 Hero Forge gift card. Your map is promptly featured in our weekly newsletter. And you get your map is featured as the first map on the Damn Challenge stream. The Damn stream, which was today, is a showcase of maps from the workshop and assets from the workshop. We discuss, tips and tricks and kind of host an AMA format stream. So it's mostly focusing on community content instead of a contest. The other two streams, we host a stream every Monday called Map Maker Monday. I build a map live, and you can tune in and watch and learn and share ideas for the build. We're currently building a massive ancient cemetery with a big cathedral on it, and we're working on a kind of private little area for a kind of a noble family's plot, if you will. That'll be kind of wrapping up that section next week and moving on to a new one. Aside from this, every Wednesday we host a stream that is dedicated to our Discord. It's Discord only, called Office Hours. Every Wednesday we host the stream there. If you're interested in these events and want to, RSVP to them or add them to your calendar so you don't miss out, go to our Discord. There's an event section at the top, and you can click interested on each of them and get a reminder when we go live. Alternatively, there's a calendar here on TikTok, and you can, put reminders in your phone or whatever. But we host the streams. The Monday and Saturday streams are available on pretty much all major platforms: Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Steam, Twitter, etc. And then we have the Discord stream on Wednesday. Anyway, thank you everyone for being here. I appreciate your support with this community initiative. But until next time, we'll see you. We'll see you on the next stream, and unless I give a damn. All right, Mac out. Bye.